Hi, how are you today? My name is Michelle Drew, and this is Mature Makeup with Michelle. I like to share recipes. I like to share how I convert basic recipes to pressure cooker recipes because I absolutely love my pressure cooker. And I put my makeup on while I talk to you about these things. Today's going to be a little bit different. I mean, I will talk about a few recipes, but we're going to call today Basic Bitch Day because I'm just going to do some real basic stuff. Nothing really detailed with the makeup. I do want to talk a little bit about skincare because, I have these fun little, what shall we call them? Luggage. Yeah, they're luggage. I have fun luggage that I carry with me everywhere. I have baggage too, but that's a whole different story that we won't talk about today. So I've been following a few different makeup experts on TikTok and some other platforms. And I learned, which I knew it was already really good for the skin, but I learned about how to remove bags using a roller. It is recommended to put it in the refrigerator, but I didn't do that. I keep it with my makeup stuff, and it's actually pretty cold, so I'm not super worried about it. Not today, anyway. So I am going to start with just some basic, I already did my toner routine, and I'm going to do my moisturizer. So I use just a pump of the Bloom Line Brightening Lotion, and then a few drops of the CBD Beauty Boost, which has rose oil in it. Rose is amazing for skincare, and I'm loving my skin's reaction to using that as a part of my routine. So as I've shared in the past, I don't rub in my moisturizer or my toner. I actually press it into my skin. And I attended an educational event virtually last year where I learned that rubbing it in is not good for the skin because it stretches the skin and compromises the elasticity. This is a wolfberry eye cream. Wolfberry is a great, wonderful, amazing antioxidant, and I use this under my eyes, in the corners, and on my eyelids. And the ring finger is the weakest finger on the hand, so we use the wing, walk, walk. We use the ring finger to apply, and we just stipple. This little tapping it in is called stippling. I like to put a little bit up here on my frowny brow. When we use the roller, we want to make sure that we have something moist, an oil or some sort of moisturizer that we're using, and we always go against gravity. We're just going to roll up, and we can roll outward. And we don't apply a lot of pressure. We're just putting it on the skin and rolling in. I also like to do my eyelids all the way up to the brow. I just realized that I have no lights going, so pardon me. Oh, hey, now we can see me. What else? How about a little decoration? There we go. It occurred to me after I had finished my last video that I didn't have my lights on at all. So I'm just going to take a moment and roll the rest of my face. Roll your face, baby, roll your face. So I've had a very interesting few days. My husband and I were planning to go to Las Vegas just for a few days, and we booked our flights, we booked our room, and we had debated whether we wanted to go to Las Vegas or to Reno. If we go to Reno, we drive, and it's about 8 to 10 hours depending on stops. And we tend to stop not super frequently, but when we stop, it always ends up being like a half an hour or longer. So that's why it takes us 10 hours instead of just 8. So we were like, well, what's the cost of flights? And so we looked at flights, and It was super cheap. And then we decided, well, we have points, air miles, so why don't we use those? So it was going to be even cheaper. Like, and upgraded seats and everything. I think it was going to cost us $100 total to go. And then our room, which we get great deals at the Four Queens, and we love to stay there. So we were all booked, ready to go. And we were going to drive up early on Saturday and get on our flight, I think at like 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon. But we wanted to go early because we are having some really interesting weather here in Oregon, which is not the type of weather we normally have. We're just not used to it. So really, really cold. Actually snow. Well, snow was in the forecast, but it didn't happen while we were in town. And really cold, icy weather. So we knew that it was going to take a while to get up there. So we left early Saturday. And it took us what normally takes us about an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and a half. Took us, I really need to clean my brushes. Took us 2.5 hours. And we did not stop much. I mean, we did stop a couple of times, but it was just really, really snowy weather, icy roads. There were power outages. And in fact, Friday night before we left, our power went out here where we live. And so we couldn't even like shower or anything because we have a well. And with no power, there's no water. And our water heater is electric, so there's no hot water either. I mean, there's no water anyway, but even if we had water, we would have no heat. So we headed up, knew that the power was supposed to come back on Saturday night sometime like around 11 p.m. And so we weren't super, super worried about that part of it. But we were really looking forward to getting out of this weather and going to Vegas where it was like 60 degrees. So we were stoked to go. So we get there, we pull into the long-term parking area, and we got an email notification that our flight had been changed to Sunday morning at 9:30. Not super excited about that. And we certainly didn't want to have to drive all the way back home to have to get up at like 4 in the morning to drive back up, knowing that it's going to take at least a couple of hours to get there. So not only was our flight rescheduled, but the entire airport was closed, shut down. They shut it down. Like I said, we're not used to that kind of weather here in Oregon. We went to the closest restaurant that we could find, the only one that was open. There was a bit of a wait because, you know, all the other people who were also going to the airport, seeing as how the airport was shut down, their flights were canceled or rescheduled also. So we decided that we were going to find a room and just go back in the morning to the airport. So that's what we did. Except there weren't any rooms. There were like no rooms. I looked all over the place. I called, I looked online, I did all the things, and no rooms. Well, I called one that was really, really close, like literally across the street from where we were eating. And I said, do you guys have rooms? And they said, not for tonight, sorry. And I was like, oh. Well, I hopped online, and I don't know what made me do this, but I did. I hopped online to that hotel's site and looked for one room for one night, just for the two of us. And it said there was one available. So I booked it. And that's where we stayed for the night. So There's one restaurant open and we don't want to eat there again. No delivery, no pizza delivery, no, like nothing's open. So we decided to go for a drive, and it's icy, it's snowy, there's not much traffic on the road, but the traffic that was on the road was just crazy. Like, people were spinning out all over the place. So it was an adventure. So that's what I told my husband. We're on an adventure. So we ended up driving to Target, which was open, and we grabbed a couple of things to snack on and eat because we, gotta eat, and went back to the room and watched TV and hung out, and that was our night, Saturday. We were supposed to be in Las Vegas, and we were in Portland at a hotel that didn't even want us. So, as we're getting ready to go to bed, my husband's like, with the roads the way that they are and freezing rain happening and all of these things, I bet they cancel our flight again. And I was like, oh, you're probably right. And I had thought about it, but was hopeful that it didn't happen. So we're laying in bed, getting ready to call it a night, and I hopped online and the flight had already been canceled. So our whole adventure got more adventurous. We still stayed the night, obviously. It was 10 o'clock at night. And got up the next day, canceled everything, got our refunds going and all of that fun stuff, and called to cancel our hotel room in Vegas, obviously because the flights have been canceled, and headed home. And I was like, we got about, 40 minutes from home. And I said to my husband, nobody expects us to be home until Tuesday. Let's just go someplace else. Let's go to the coast or someplace, but let's not just throw away our whole weekend plan. And so he was like, okay. So we settled on going to the coast, and I called the hotel where we normally stay. No vacancies. And I was a little worried about it because, it's Valentine's Day, and then Monday was President's Day, and also so many places in Oregon were without power that I fully expected that there would be people who were like, screw it, I'm going to go to a hotel. And well, if I'm going to go to a hotel, then I might as well go to the coast, right? Because who doesn't want to be at the coast? And so they were fully booked. So we looked at a couple of other hotel options. And my husband was like, you know what? Let's just go. Let's just go. Like, let's just go and see if when we walk in there, they have a room available. Because, some places do that, where they hold rooms for walk-ins or whatever. I worked at hotels that have done that in the past. And so we did. So we get to the hotel where we normally stay, and my husband goes in, and sure enough, they had a room. We lucked out. So we did. We stayed at the coast. We enjoyed some time at the casino. We enjoyed just some time together, away from everything. And it was good. But it definitely was an adventure, for sure. Let's just brush out these lashes, shall we? Do you have a favorite place to go? Like when you just want to get away, is there a place where you go? We love to go to the coast. Of course, we also like to go to Reno, but the coast is a whole lot closer. And we try to go to Vegas, well, at least once a year. This last year has been really challenging, but we were really looking forward to being able to go last weekend, but we didn't. Weather, ice, snow, storms, freezing rain. Oh my. All the bad things. The last time we went to Reno, we decided to venture out of our hotel because, you know, the hotels in those cities, Vegas and Reno, they're like little cities in themselves. And in fact, the place where we stay in Reno is like, has some sort of a partnership sort of a thing with other hotels that are really close. It's called the Row. We've eaten at all the places there. And everything takes a reservation. And so we ended up going to this place. I want to say it's called Wild River. I could be wrong about that, but I think that's what it's called. And oh my goodness, I'll share a picture. I had elk medallions that were spectacular. And they came with this like risotto cakes. I don't know. And so, I mean, when I ordered it, I saw that it was there, but there wasn't a picture or anything for me to know what I was supposed to be looking at or identifying when I got it. So I get this meal and I'm like, Handsome, look at these potato cakes. They look amazing. Well, it wasn't potato cakes, it was risotto. And after eating them, I was like, okay, I have to learn how to make this at home. So I'm going to figure out how to make it, and I will share that with you guys because they were so freaking good. It was so good, I gorged myself. Like, I had to finish everything on my plate because I couldn't let anything go to waste. And I didn't really have an option to take it with us. So it was delicious. And Handsome had ribeye. And that's not his favorite cut of meat, but it was really good. It was like butter. It was just melt in your mouth, delicious. I don't know what's going on with this eyebrow lately, but it's like, I just want to stick straight out. Hey lady, I don't want to lay down. I'm not tired. You can't put me to bed. I'm not happy with it. So I'm going to find the recipe for those risotto cakes. And when I do, I will tell you guys all about it. They were just so good. They were crispy. They were just like potato cakes, but it was risotto. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I also had ordered, I wanted a drink, which I don't drink very often. And in fact, I quit drinking for over a year. I just needed to. And I needed to reset. And now I drink occasionally. But I ordered a drink and I was really excited about it because it was called Sweet Chai O' Mine, and I love chai. But when I got it, I was like, I expected it to taste like chai. It was an old fashioned. It was just whiskey. I mean, it had the flavorings or seasonings or whatever, but they were buried in it. Like, it had no chai flavor whatsoever. Maybe in the bottom of the glass, but I wasn't going to get to it. So I ended up, our waiter was awesome. He was like, do you like it? You haven't really drank much of it. And I was like, it's a lot stronger than I expected it to be. And it doesn't taste anything like chai. So it's a sipper for sure. And he's like, well, if you don't like it, I'll have him make something else for you. I ordered a nuts and berries. If you haven't had that, you're missing out. It's really good. It's a raspberry liqueur with a hazelnut liqueur. It's like a dessert drink. It's super rich, but it's so good. And I had a few of those while we were in Reno. And then when we got home, we ended up going and getting the things to make it here. And it just wasn't the same. And I haven't had it since. I think it'll just be a special occasion type of thing. What's your favorite drink? What's your favorite drink recipe? Like, what do you order when you go out versus what you drink at home? Or do you drink? Or do you go out? I mean, nobody's going out too many places nowadays, but when you do, what do you get? What's your go-to? Today, on my Instagram, I have a friend who is the wife of a gentleman we play pool with. And I got a notification that she was following me on Instagram, and I was like, oh, hey. Well, then I got a message from her saying hi. And I was like, hey, because we haven't seen her since everything's been shut down. And I was excited to have a conversation with her. And it started off just fine. And I was like, hey, what's going on? How are you? I said, are things opening up down there where you are? And she said, no. And then the next message that I got, I knew that it wasn't her because the grammar was awful. Clearly not an English-speaking person. They were asking for money. And so I showed it to my husband, and he was like, great, looks like she got hacked. And I said, yeah, I think I'm going to play with this. But first, I took a screenshot, and I sent it to that friend on Facebook. And I said, hey, I just want to double check and make sure that you didn't actually send me this message. And she's like, I would hope that you would know that my grammar is better than that. And I said, okay, cool. As long as I know, like, you're not in dire need, then I'm going to play with this. So 3 hours later, this person tried all kinds of ways to get me to send them money or to get my bank account information so they could have some money sent to my account and then they could get it from me later, like all kinds of fun stuff. And I told my friend on Facebook that I would share with her screenshots of what I did. Anyway, so I did, and she was thrilled. And she was like, this totally made my day. Thank you so much. And so in conversation with the hacker person, I said, well, my husband is on his way to your house, so he can give your husband the money and then he can put it in your account and then you should be good to go. Like, clearly not English speaking, like somewhere. You can't be specific. Where are you? And so I tried to find out where they were or get them to tell me something, and they just wouldn't. They wouldn't bite, which is fine because I knew that my friend was safe and not in dire need or anything. So it was purely for my entertainment. But that was actually kind of the highlight of my day. Yeah, good times. Anyway, what do you guys do when you get those random phone calls like, how's your car's warranty? Need an extended warranty? My husband had the best answer. My phone rang and I was driving, and so he's like, you want me to answer it? Because it said potential spam or whatever. And I was like, sure. And so he told them, they asked, what kind of vehicle do you have? We can get you an extended warranty. And he said, I have a 1985 Schwinn bicycle. And they were like, 1985? Don't you have something newer than that? And he was like, nope, just my Schwinn bicycle. And they're like, ugh. I ended up hanging up. Here I am. I hope everybody has a great day and that you find joy and happiness and that you live a joyous life and that hackers don't hack you and that bullies don't bully you, and that your flights don't get canceled, and that you don't get snowed in without power, but that if you do, that you can stay warm and safe and make great memories from it. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Cheers.